Good morning and afternoon, everyone. Actually, I'm going to put my headphones in while we're talking, only because I forgot to before, and I think that people can hear me better with them. Um, and of course, I'm not using my gimbal properly. That's better. That's much better. Okay, so today we are going to talk about your real estate agent's experience in this market. This is super, super, super important on a couple of. There we go. That's better. And as you can tell, I'm running late for my Facebook Live. So first, I apologize for that. Second, I'm clearly not in Metro Detroit. Check it out, guys. Let's see if this thing, if I can get that thing working. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yep, I am actually in Dubai right now. So I'm blessed today to have met my niece for the very first time, which is so awesome. Actually, do I have a picture of her to show? So I want everybody to see the look on her face when she met her Uncle Mike. Let's see if I could pull this up properly here. clearly, clearly not having it, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We calmed down after the initial fright of my face. And I was blessed to spend yesterday and today with my niece, my sister, my brother-in-law. Thank you for the laugh. I appreciate it. I've been laughing. I've been laughing for 2 days. And I got all the photos, and I got to hold the baby, and I got to do all of the uncle-y things that uncles should be doing, right? Um, and it is almost 7 o'clock here, which means it's probably about 11 a.m. back home, if I remember right. Today, I wanted to talk part four of four, as promised. The fourth question, what experience that you want to ask your agent before hiring your agent, what experience do you have in this market? Now, this is super important, especially when setting expectations, um, because unfortunately, most agents don't have a lot of experience with this specific market. This really came to light for me about a week or so ago. Um, Again, I look at patterns for everything, and an agent that frankly had been in the business for 8 or 10 years called me up to ask me, not on the team, but it called me up just to ask me how to write a specific clause, which is good. And I appreciate the help. And this is not an agent at my brokerage, not an agent on my team. But I got to tell you, this is an agent I definitely want on the team because they're curiosity based, which is awesome. And they want to do the best for their clients they can, to the point that even when their own broker was not answering, they reached out to somebody else in the community that they respected that they thought could get the answer, could help them get an edge for their client, right? So good. And it reminded me of the flip side of how many people don't, right? Unfortunately. So here's where experience becomes a factor, right? Two ways, two reasons. One, not setting false expectations, right? The experience in the market can help set proper expectations for people, which is how you win homes, right? On multiple offer bids, or how you maximize the equity in your current property when selling. Either one, right? Both. It's both. Second, is, and again, this just goes down to experience. Experienced agents, again, know how to win these multiple offer situations and know how to gauge with the buyer, engage with a seller, how important, especially with a buyer, how important is this home to that buyer and what do we need to do to win? How do we phrase it properly? So here's what I mean by this, right? Like when I'm showing a property and I see my buyer's eyes light up, there are levels. There are definitely levels to the light up, right? And as an agent, I want to be sure I'm asking direct questions because if this is the right home for my buyer, it's probably the right home for three other buyers as well. And my guys and myself, we have the experience to be able to jump in and say, hey guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, is this your dream home as a 10? Or are we closer to a 5 or a 6? Because eyes lighting up can be very, very different for different reasons. And that's happened to myself as a buyer where I look at a property and I'm like, yeah, this is a good home. If I got it at the right price, I would buy it. And I've been in other properties where my eyes light up and it was like, hey, what do I need to do to get this one? And those are two very, very different eyes lighting up. And it's important to make that distinction. And it's important for an agent to dig in and see where on that scale of 1 to 10 this property falls for that buyer, because that will help them advise them properly on what offer to make. Now, the second part of that is a lot of buyers will ask agents, especially in this market, hey, do you win all of your offers? And unfortunately, a lot of buyers that, or a lot of agents that don't have a ton of experience, frankly, they'll just say yes because they may have gotten lucky and won their one offer with their one family. And again, this is not a bad thing and it's not a lie. But I will say this, in this market, in the first 2 months of the year, the average buyer from the data that I've been tracking, which we could get right through our MLS, right through showing time, right through our own properties, because we're selling 30 of our own listings a month. The average buyer was making in January and February 6 offers to get one accepted. In March, that came down to 4, which is good. And in April, we're a lot closer to 3. But the answer is not 1, right? The answer is not a 1-to-1. And we know this because we've heard about all those multiple offer situations and those bidding wars, and logic would dictate if a seller gets 6 offers, let's just say, they accept 1, by default, 5 people do not have an accepted offer, right? And again, I'm seeing a lot of agents put them out there that all of my offers are getting accepted. That is simply not the case. An agent, when interviewing an agent, is saying, hey, what is your experience in this market? The answer really should be, 25% or 35% or 50% of my offers are getting accepted, but not all of them, right? Because anything other than that, and I think we're setting false expectations for today's market. Similar on the selling side. The question is, what experience do you have maxing out my equity in today's market, right? Yes, it's a hot market. Yes, we could throw a property on the market and get an offer same day, if not next day. But is that really doing the seller the absolute best good, right? There is a video that I did that was picked up by Kalamazoo radio station, actually. They did a nice article around it, where I talked about selling in one day sold, essentially, and how that is not necessarily the best thing for our sellers, right? Most of our sellers, we're advising them, hey guys, let's wait either 42 or 78 hours, 48 or 72 hours before we even look at any of the offers. And yes, what you're hearing behind me is actually a fountain. I'm gonna shoot that real quick. Let's see if I can, because this is what they do here in Dubai, right? Crazy thing. Lots of water usage, amazing water usage. But anyway, getting back to it. Um, so we're advising our sellers, hey guys, let's not just accept an offer the very, very first day we put their home on the market, right? Let's make sure all showings get through. And the experience that we've got shows us that if we're accepting an offer first day, we're probably leaving a few bucks on the table. And if not a few bucks, a few terms that will make your life a lot less stressful on your move, okay? Now here's what this looks like. I've seen this 100 times just in the last 60 days, where an agent schleps a property up on the market on, let's say, Friday at 10 a.m., right? With no clear plan to be sure every buyer and every agent has the opportunity to show and see that property. Now, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., they've got 2 or 3 offers because a couple buyers jumped out and saw it real quick and wrote on it. They accept an offer at 8 p.m. Most of the websites are updating overnight, so the majority of buyers are now seeing that home on Saturday, which is too late, right? And I'll tell you this right now. If I get 8 or 10 showings on a property, or if I get 30 or 40 showings on a property, I'm getting my sellers more money with 30 or 40 showings on a property. And again, that's where experience matters. And experience has showed us that the proper way to do this is get your home onto the market, right? First, start advertising it the day before we put it up. Put it up, but wait 2 days to start showings to make sure every site is updated and every buyer has that opportunity to see the property online, contact their agent, right, and set up a showing. By then, we usually have, when we start our showings on Saturdays, by then, we usually have it Saturday blocked out in its entirety, full of showings, and we're spilling into Sunday. In addition to that, we bookend the front of the showings with an open house, right? Because there are a ton of buyers out there, 2 reasons. There are a ton of buyers out there that are not working with an agent, right? Number 2 is there are a lot of agents out there that, frankly, they didn't plan on the perfect house for their buyer coming up this weekend, but what they did plan was a nice out-of-town trip with their kids, right? They planned to go see the soccer game out of town with the high schools and the whatnots, right? They plan to go, see that baseball game or whatever that looks like, right? By doing the open house, we're giving that other agent the option to send their buyer through and not miss that house for them. Because 1 or 2 things are going to happen in that case, right? A, the agent's going to have to cancel their family plans. And frankly, that's not cool. I mean, in this world today, do have a belief that we are not spending enough time with our family. So I'm never going to force an agent and say, hey guys, sorry, you got to cancel your plans with your family so that your buyer can see a house. Not cool. Totally not cool. Number 2 is the buyer does get to see the property irregardless of the status of the agent, which is super important, right? For again, that same reason. That agent Like their agent does not need to actually see the property to know that the buyer loved the kitchen and loved the house and loved the backyard or whatever that looks like, right? That's up to the buyer to love, not the agent. It's up to the agent to get that property for them if they love it, right? So again, this is where experience in the market becomes super, super important. So the question I would ask is, hey, how many families have you helped over the last 12 months during this streak of a hot market? If the answer is two or three, or if they're on a team, well, if the answer is two or three, I may want to look for somebody with a little more experience. If they're on a team and they're new, that's amazing because they've got all the experience of that team standing behind them to help them out. And I can tell you right now, our guys receive a lot of help from our veterans and from our leadership team, right? And again, it's about maximizing that investment if you're looking to sell, right? So we want to make sure that you've got somebody that has the experience in this market with the marketing plans that's dictated to get you the max money out and provide the smoothest transaction, smoothest closing. Okay, guys, I'm trying to use a gimbal here. Shoot me a comment on if this is working, if this is not working. This is one of my first times really using this one. It's a new one I picked up. And again, I just got to throw up my niece just one more time, just because I'm a super proud uncle. Bam. And that is what Amelia looks like when she sees her Uncle Mike. That's a happy face, guys. I'm going to tell you right now. That is actually a happy face, right? It is. All right, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Need anything, reach out anytime. We are always available. 248-886-4450. Reach out to me by email, michaelperna@kw.com. Other than that, make it a great rest of your day. Thank you.